Hey guys, Mike here. So obviously the market is kind of all over the place today, right? Green, red, ended up red for the day, of course, but really just consolidating in a certain range like we kind of figured it would. And that's what happens really when you have two major sell-off days. And so no surprise there, and we'll get into that. And a few things that actually, some charts show us what really caused this rally, what sustained this rally as we went up and stuff, and why it was such a violent rally. And then we're going to get into some more news coming out of China, which, I mean, it's just a hot mess. I mean, those guys, thank God it's a communist country, because if it wasn't, they would have already collapsed, that's for sure. Or maybe they wouldn't even be in the position they're in right now, or what their government's doing. But I don't know, we're going to see what happens. I mean, we'll see on that one. But as you can see right here, I mean, the indexes, boom, red across the board, except for the Russell 2000, which actually squeaked out a slightly green day there, as you can see. But if we just look at the S&P 500 chart, we were questioning what was going to happen. Were we going to fill the gaps above first or the gaps below? And if we zoom in right here, you can see how powerful gaps are, right? Look what happened. Filled the gap exactly down to the penny, bounced off of it several times. And so now it's sitting there less than about percent above the 100-day moving average, I believe. And so you can see those two big gaps above as well. And so that's going to be the big question. What are we going to do there? And if we just add in the relative strength index, the RSI, and the MACD, you can see on the daily, short-term bearishness there. We did cross below the 50 on the RSI, and then the MACD is rolling over. So short-term, doesn't look too hot or whatever, but we'll have to see on that. And if we just kind of look at really what's pushed this rally up, or actually what you see pushing this rally down, is a lot of risk off. So we shouldn't be surprised. You can see all the red candles there. Well, what's happening to ARK, right? So what's happening? Because I always look at ARKK because it's the riskiest of the riskiest, really. And what are they having? A lot of outflows coming in August. You can see right there, people are starting to go, okay, they were ramping up in June, July. Now all of a sudden they're like, okay, let me go ahead and take this money off the table, because these stocks moved up quite a bit during this rally right here. But we can also see this right here. This is the third most short covering we've ever seen in a rally like this. Right there, you can see where they're pointing at it. And then this goes back to 2021, and then this goes back all the way to 2014. And so we knew that's what was pushing up the rally, of course. And then just looking right here, chart of the week. I've had a trend line to draw across, so you can see we hit it perfectly. But these are these rallies you get in bear markets, and of course we don't know if this is a bear market rally or something else. But you can see we've had 4 so far, and this tells you the percentages of each one. Obviously, this is the most violent move up we've had so far, and it was very fast. And like, again, if I could draw a trend line right there, you can see it hit it exactly before it started selling back off. And by the way, if you get anything out of this, please hit that like and subscribe button for me. I really appreciate it. And so we've discussed this before. I mean, the only way you get a move this violent, this fast, is with a whole lot of short covering, because people got caught with their pants down. They got too greedy, and they kept trying to push these stocks, which were already down 80-90%, down even more. And so guess what? They said, hey, we'll take the profits. And so boom, and of course some shorts held way too long. They thought we were going to turn back down. It did not. And like I said, you can follow some of these guys on Twitter. They'll tell you they got burned and just held way too long. And they held on to that bearish sentiment and didn't want to follow the data. And so, again, they gave back a lot of their gains, but they still have a whole lot of gains because they've been shorting pretty much all the way down at this point in time. And so to see, ARK funds kind of flowing out, that's why ARK's been selling off over the last week or whatever, because it's the riskiest of the riskiest. I mean, you saw what happened to Zoom last night, right? It's one of their most largest holdings, top 5, I think, at least. And it went down massively. And so no surprise there, to say the least. And, the market is still looking for a direction at this point in time, right? I think, like I said, until Jackson Hole on Friday comes out and, the Fed president, Jerome Powell, speaks and puts his foot in his mouth again, I don't think you're going to have a clear direction until that point in time. And so we'll have to see on that. But the other news is, and the reason why, China news just keeps coming out every day right now, because they are a large economy. They're having a lot of problems, all right? And this, to me, was one of the craziest ones. I mean, I don't put it past them because, again, they've done some crazy stuff. I was reading up on their population problem, and then went back in history starting in the 70s and 80s. And I'm not even going to talk about the stuff they did to their own people because it was horrific, even if half of it's true. I was shocked. Some of the stuff I did not know or never heard of, but It's just unbelievable. But yeah, they got a population problem, that's for sure. I mean, don't forget their one-child policy they had for years, and not having female babies, supposed, and all that stuff. So you got a bunch of men over there, a generation of men who don't have wives because there's not enough, obviously, women born in their generation, because they want a male to try to control the population and everything at one point in time. But now they're starting to reap the whirlwind with this right here, and you can see this is the Chinese banks face growing bad loan pressure as the economy slows. And this just didn't begin. This started in 2013, right? But see the ramp up here that's been taking place over the last 4 years. And what's even crazier about it is, remember, the Chinese control their banking system, the government that is. Look at this. Chinese banks are employing unusual practices to inflate their loan volumes as they struggle to meet government demands to pump more credit into an economy beset by all the lockdowns that they do and beleaguered property market, which we've talked about. And this is what they're trying to do now. So with borrowers reluctant to take on debt, I wonder why, so they can't get their money out of their banks. As economic growth slows, some state-owned banks are extending loans to companies and then allowing them to deposit funds at the same interest rate, according to the executives at 6 banks that want to remain anonymous. Others are borrowing from each other through short-term financing arrangements that can be dressed up as new loans to boost volumes. And then on top of that, you got youth unemployment that has surged to 20%. And some forecasters are predicting the economy will grow at just 3% this year. And they were projected to grow around 5.5%, which of course for them is actually really slow. But I saw the unemployment for the youth, I was like 20%. Like, that's not good. I guess they're all on TikTok or something. I'm not really sure about that. But understand, the government says we want you to push out liquidity and get people to take loans. But now, of course, people aren't taking loans. So, of course, the executives not to be held accountable. They're literally, each bank is loaning each other banks. Banks are loaning each other money to make it look like they're opening new loans, and then trying to get these companies to take it out. And the companies are like, no, we don't want it. No, thank you. Because like what was the JD.com report this morning showed the slowest growth in their history of their company. And so, nobody wants it. And then, of course, you got the run on the banks where the people can't get their money out of the banks. Remember, 70% of Chinese wealth is tied up in the real estate market, which is a hot mess right now because that's nothing but a big pyramid scheme, if you didn't know that. And so now over there, my understanding is they don't own land. The government owns the land. They lease it to the builders, and the builders sell, obviously, these guys townhomes and houses. They don't own the property it's on, though. That's my understanding of everything I read about. And so, of course, what happens when you don't have people buying all these homes, because remember they were building all these ghost cities and just all kinds of places they didn't need. Well, of course, the problem is here you want to convince people to buy homes that no one will ever want to buy anyway, and half of them have paid all these deposits and money for properties that aren't even getting finished, and then when they try to go get their own money out of the bank, they won't let them do that because they don't want to run on the banks, right? And so, boy, that's just a recipe for disaster. And this is one of those things, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, I don't know how long, it is a communist government, so they can obviously hold down their people and do what they want to do. I just don't know how long how long they can hold it up or prop it up anymore. This is why Bernie Madoff got found out, right? It was 08 crash happened. Obviously, it was a pyramid scheme. Less people started putting more money in, more people wanted the money out, and then the collapse happened. So now you kind of got the same thing going on with their real estate market. And, I feel bad for their people because it sucks for them. They put all this money in over the years, and, here you got whatever, all this equity built up in these homes that are priced higher, but there's nobody to sell them to anyway. And then the money, you have saved, you worked hard for, you can't get out of the banks. And so, yeah, it seems like a hot mess over there. And so, again, their economy continues to slow. And it's like here, consumer sentiment is in the toilet, right? And that is not a good thing for your economy. They have the same problem over there. People don't trust the government, not spending like they were spending before. High unemployment among their youth, got an aging population, and so we got some of the same problems when it comes to an aging population. So I've been looking into that as well. By 2030, 25% of the population will be retired, and every baby boomer will be qualified for Social Security. So, that's an interesting conundrum to be in. So, and I'm no expert on population and all this other stuff, but that's going to be some fun times to be had. So anyway, just wanted to put that there to you again. I'm expecting, no huge moves up until Friday. You might see more volatility down, who knows, but we'll have to see on that. And again, I'm watching the 100 moving average on daily, see what happens there, see if we're able to hold it. I think you're just going to see us in some certain range unless some crazy news comes out until Jerome Powell speaks. So that's kind of where we're at. again, if you're an investor and you're looking to DCA, obviously you're looking at this and you say, well, those prices are holding steady. Some stocks are coming down. Maybe you look at it as you get more bargains. You know, and I say the video I did back a while back when I say, you know, has the NASDAQ 100 bottom? Looks like it. Have we ever broke those bottoms again once we've seen those indicators? No. Have we retested? Absolutely. And I showed you that on the charts. And so, and I said I would not be surprised because the S&P to me really hadn't bottomed because the energy stocks never bottomed out, right? And so what's going up right now is energy, so which is kind of interesting. So, you know, again, that's a whole nother issue. So anyway, I just want to put that out to you. Let me know what you guys do in the comments. Let me know what you think about this whole Chinese situation over there and everything. So anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow.